So there's a bunch of articles that have come out. I'm going to do a video on it. That are all drawing from the same thing. And they are connected. So the superhero burnout, the superhero fatigue that Hollywood is feeling, not saying the audience is feeling it, I'm saying that Hollywood is feeling of their own creation, is part of a much bigger problem. It's part of this Hollywood shrinkage. As a matter of fact, Forbes wrote a longer article. That's basically the author of the Forbes article sourced the other 4 articles and turned them into one. So half of the article about it's an overall Hollywood saying the streaming bubble is burst and all this, but half of it's about Disney and Marvel and Star Wars. So this one's specifically, but let's just go over the last 2 weeks of articles, right? So it starts out with remember that Hollywood is fighting toxic fans. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So it's how Hollywood fights toxic fans, and then it's followed by Hollywood is now at historic lows for shooting, including reality. Hollywood is turning into a graveyard. These are all from Deadline, from Variety, these are all owned by the same company. And then there's another one where Forbes, where like, the streaming bubble has burst. Then there's one today where Paramount's like firing an entire department, and they're going to write a strongly written letter. We're going to go over all this, but what's really worrying Hollywood is this, because we were talking earlier in the live stream about what drives the market. So when I was in a comic book shop, you know what drove the market? Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man. That's what got people's asses in my store. And then they bought, then they got into other characters because of crossovers, or I recommended it or whatever. But there's like a handful of characters that drive the market, and this goes again bigger than superhero. It's genre. Like genre is going to be something Hollywood's just going to back away from because it's too expensive. But superhero burnout, with most superhero movies flopping, can Marvel and DC's 2025 slates reverse an unprecedented box office drought? So unfairly, this article conflates like every single superhero movie. So superhero films are not a genre. Okay, there's multiple genres within superhero films. Like Joker is a very different film, obviously, than Venom. But you cannot deny that there have been a lot more flops than successes. As a matter of fact, you can count on one hand how many actual successes there have been with comic book movies if you were factoring in budgets over the last 4 years. And I'm going to do this off the top of my head. Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Deadpool Wolverine, and maybe you can eke in there Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then number 5 would be The Batman, probably, as far as profitability. And the reason I sneaked that one in there is because it's a solo comic book character that didn't require multiverses and a bunch of other shit. Now, I hated the third act, and it should have made more money, but you could sneak it in there. No, we're not going to bring in Wakanda Forever or Thor Love and Thunder or even Doctor Strange Mom, because once you find out the budgets for those movies, they didn't make any money. And one of them almost made $1 billion, Chris. Doctor Strange Mom almost, like, it was a pubic hair away from $1 billion, but unfortunately it had like a $400 million budget, which makes it impossible to make money. So Sony Pictures billed Venom: The Last Dance, might be the last superhero dance, as the final chapter in Tom Hardy's alien symbiote buddy comedy franchise. But with its $51 million domestic opening weekend, 44% and 55% lower than the previous 2 installments. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Keep those percentages in mind. The movie also signifies the continued twilight of the superhero cinema as the dominant force at the box office.